Joe Biden won the South Carolina primary tonight. But here's a secret. It doesn't mean a whole lot.
It's official, and it probably has been for a couple minutes, but the checkmark means our decision desk has called the South Carolina Democratic primary for the incumbent president, Joe Biden.
When is a win not a win? When you got to cheat to win. When you got to rig it to win. When you got to lie. Have people cover for you to make it look like you really won when you really did not win. What I'm trying to tell you is that this was all a setup.
Besides the fact that Biden is just nearly unanimously winning this primary right now, the biggest growth we're seeing right now in his support, it's the same number every county in the state. That means white voters who were reluctant in 2020 and with Sanders or with Buttigieg or some of these other candidates, they're just as in line now, I think, as black voters are, at least in this primary.
What Joe Biden did was he pressured the DNC to change the rules so there would be no competition. No competition in the primary. That means he wins. People don't even know who Marianne Williamson is or that she's running. People don't even know who Dean Phillips is or that he's running. Jake Euchre wasn't even on the ballot. So that's how they did it. You just heard it. There's nobody running against him. He's running unopposed. If you're running unopposed, virtually unopposed, and people don't know that you're running against somebody, then you're the only one running. You're the only person they know. That's it. So all of this was done to play with the minds of voters. Folks, South Carolina's going to go red anyway. It's going to go for Trump. No one's questioning that. No one's doubting that. The whole idea is to try to sway public opinion, to make some of you think, oh, Joe Biden's at it again. He's going to do well.
And according to the DNC chairman, Jamie Harrison, this year, in a year when it's not really a contested primary, even though Marianne Williamson and Dean Phillips are in the race, and also, as Kornacki pointed out several times, that we don't have an analogous year to point to because the president is an incumbent, sends a very clear message, I think, should send a very clear message to us.
Jesus Christ, he's hard to listen to. I wonder how many millions of dollars they're paying him to not be able to articulate his thoughts. A lot of money, I'm guessing. A lot of money to listen to that guy. Folks, they stole the primaries. It's stolen. They rigged it. Period. How else do I need to prove to you that this was stolen? Huh? Look, the glass is broke. The lock is busted. The chain's been cut. There's a hole in the roof. There's a tunnel in the ground. The guard got knocked out. What else do you need as proof that they stole the primary in South Carolina? And they will continue to steal the primaries. That's why I support Dr. West, because he's not running as a Democrat, because we already knew the Democratic Party was going to steal the primary.
Joe Biden once again coming out on top as a winner because of his commitments, keeping his promises to black voters who have been the backbone of the Democratic Party.
Biden builds up his war chest so he can try to compete against Donald Trump. And the advertisers and the corporations all make money. But at the end of the day, was it because Joe Biden was a great candidate? No. Is it because people were enthusiastic about Joe Biden? No. It's because he wasn't running against anybody. At least it didn't look like he was. And if you think that was an accident, I got some swampland I want to sell you. It's beachfront property. Here goes my top 3 things you need to know about the South Carolina primaries. Number 1, the turnout in the South Carolina primary was only 20% of what it was in 2020. That's right. In 2020, you got 20% of the 2020 vote total. That's right. This is a horrible display. So anybody that's reporting on the South Carolina primary victory for Joe Biden without including the fact that the numbers was down, aren't down with the truth. Number 2, Joe Biden pushed the DNC to help him by moving South Carolina to the first of the line. Make South Carolina the first primary. Why did he do that? Because it was the only race that Joe Biden could win. In 2020, Joe Biden placed 4th in Iowa, 5th in New Hampshire, and a distant 2nd in Nevada. His political career was saved by winning South Carolina with Jim Clyburn. So what did he decide to do? They put South Carolina in front of New Hampshire. The only problem is New Hampshire has in their state constitution, by law, that they have to go first. So New Hampshire held their primary anyway. And Joe Biden was forced to do a write-in campaign. So that's why we ended up in South Carolina. So anybody pumping their chest out about South Carolina, saying that Joe Biden did great, doesn't even understand that they rigged, literally changed the state lineup just to help Biden. Not only did they not have primary debates, not only was there a media blackout on Dean Phillips and Marianne Williamson, Jake Huger, but they front-loaded South Carolina to help Joe Biden. So Biden ended up winning New Hampshire, just like he ended up winning here in South Carolina, but none of it's real. In fact, the whole primary is rigged. Number 3, some people are running with the narrative that all these black voters came out for Joe Biden in the South Carolina primary. That ain't true. What happened was there are some black voters that did early voting. More black voters did early voting this time around than last time around. But put it this way. Say there was 1 million black voters that did early voting in 2020. Maybe 800,000 white folks did early voting. This year, 50,000 black Americans did early voting. And only 100,000 white voters did early voting. So there's more black voters that did early voting by the percentage, but it's still less. See, these are things that they try to trick you with when they do the counting and do the numbers. And they do the reporting on the DNCs, the CBSs, the MSNBCs, the CNNs. But they don't tell the real story. And this is one of the reasons why I can't stand Joe Biden. This is one of the reasons why I say we need another party. We need multiple parties. Because the Democratic Party and the Republican Party lie. They come up with all types of strategies to hoodwink voters, to fool you. And then we got people sitting at home believing in these parties, believing in these politicians. You always got to remember that they're cherry picking who they talk to and cherry picking the narrative that they want to run with. Remember, half of America doesn't vote. And in the primary of an incumbent president, even more people don't vote. But they'll still go find this guy. And the only reason why they got him on camera, because they already knew what he said.
Today, what got you out here? Were you driven by any excitement at all? How are you feeling about Joe Biden? Tell me about it.
I think Joe Biden's doing a great job with all the things that he's doing, whether it's the economy or improving our relationships internationally. I think he's doing a lot for us.
I don't know this guy, but I can guarantee you there are a lot of black men who are very upset with the Democratic Party and with Joe Biden. Because when they said they wanted something for their vote, what they got from Joe Biden and for their communities was migrants on buses in their cities. And that's not something that's going to get you a lot of votes from black men. The Democratic Party don't want to tell you that. I'm sure Fox wants to tell you every day. But I'm telling you, as a person who's been covering politics for the last decade, black people, men and women, are fed up with the black community being overlooked. And to feel like the Democratic Party is putting another group of people over the black community and sending them to the black community to put them over the black community is a dagger in the chest that I don't think that Joe Biden can overcome. He may win a primary because it's rigged, but will he win a general election with that? You'll see. All right, fam, that's my top 3 things that you need to know about the South Carolina primary. My name is Tim Black, and this has been the latest edition of Calling It Out. I'll see y'all on the next one. Don't you let nobody take your cornbread. Wolfpack.
Don't miss Tim Black's next video. Become a Tim Black member at jointimblack.com. Fight back.